Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here, welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Today I want to talk about these. These are Destiny 2 caps that went up on GameStop's website earlier this week and have since been taken down. There were also some accompanying keychains with the exact same symbolism. But what's interesting is that these aren't just Destiny hats, these are specifically part of their Destiny 2 range. There's one for the Hunter, Titan and Warlock, as you can clearly see by the iconic crest in the middle. However, what's interesting are the animal crests that surround them. Is this a possible glimpse into new subclasses or new abilities? Is this a story hint as to where we may potentially draw our powers from? Or could we even be as far-fetched as to suggest that these might be pet-like creatures that we encounter and perhaps even fight alongside? Well, I've got a few theories paired with some information that surfaced a few months back that might provide a bit more clarity, so let's explore that a little bit deeper. If you do enjoy this video, then a like would be super appreciated, and comment down below and let me know what you guys think yourselves. Of course, as with all of these type of leaked speculation videos, until anything is confirmed by Bungie, then, well, nothing is confirmed. But it's still interesting to explore nonetheless, so let's go forward. First up, as a recap for the events of Destiny 2, we know that Ghoul, commander of the Red Legion, has mounted his attack on Earth, laid waste to the tower, and imprisoned the Traveller in some way to break our connection with it, in turn stripping us of our powers. From the official game blurb, we know that we'll be heading into the wilderness to explore mysterious, uncharted territories in the solar system, in an attempt to discover new weapons and quote-unquote devastating abilities. We also know that one of the key characters we'll encounter, who goes by the name of Hawthorne, has survived for many years in the wilderness, outside the walls of the city, the protection of the Guardians, and the reliance on the Traveller. And of course, with the connection to the Traveller severed, we're going to need to find another way to get back in the fight. And what better way to learn than from the world around us? As mentioned in my last video, the subclasses from the Taken King didn't come from the Traveller, but are instead harnessed from the world around us. For example, directly from the void, the power of a storm, or the energy from the sun. So not all powers or abilities depend on light. That much is for sure. And these symbols, snake, lion, and eagle, are synonymous with nature and the wilderness, so there is no doubt a strong connection here. But what exactly are these? I mean, are these new subclasses or new abilities? Well, that leads me on to a rather interesting post that actually cropped up back in February this year. I read it back then, but at the time it seemed a little bit too far-fetched and a little bit sort of fake, so I decided to leave it for the time being. However, since then, some of the information posted lines up with the events we know to be true, and others that have yet to present themselves. Long story short, the post supposedly comes from a Bungie employee. Now, that in itself is always a huge warning sign. I mean, anyone can say, I work for Bungie, but for the time being, let's roll with it. In the original post, he spoke about how the Cabal would invade with their Red Guard army, the tower would be lost, and the story would start out in the world, which seems to line up pretty nicely with exactly what we've seen from the trailer. It also speaks about potential new enemy types, characters we'll interact with, but for the time being, I will gloss over that because that's a little bit too granular right now, and also not relevant to this video. If you want to read it, of course, it is linked down below. What I want to turn my attention to is the follow-up post where he supposedly spoke about mechanics, and there was a line that said, quote-unquote, new specs for classes include a pet class. Titans get a lynx-type creature, Hunters get a large slinking reptile, and Warlocks get an alien raven-type flying creature. Now again, at this stage, take this with a huge pinch of salt, but since some of his information ended up being true, then let's at least play with the idea. It's also worth mentioning that if this person was in fact a Bungie employee, things can of course change, so if some of the stuff that he has listed doesn't necessarily line up, then it may well be that stuff has been, adapted, rescoped, removed, etc. But again, playing with the idea itself, it would be pretty cool to have pet-like creatures in game. I mean, if our connection to the Traveller is severed, then perhaps 2 is our connection to the Ghost. I know that Nolan North confirmed he would be returning as a Ghost, but who's to say that they can't both either coexist, or that he doesn't necessarily exist in a sort of different capacity. That being said, I honestly don't think that Bungie would give everyone pets to just stroll around with. I mean, that would certainly make large group activities a lot more complicated. I think if we were to see them in any way at all, it'd likely be in the form of, say, an ability, like a super, but a way to call out a pet to help you for a limited period of time, something like that. What's more, is that if you cast your mind back to the ancient scrapped concept art that Bungie said was never actually used, here you see a Hunter, Titan, and a Warlock with what look like new abilities. Of the 3, the Warlock is most comparable to an animal, the wings of a phoenix, or some other bird of prey. Perhaps if you wanted to try and make the connection, then you could say the Titan's shield is a display of strength, something you'd expect of a lion, and the Hunter's spear could be venom-tipped like the sting of a snake. Or perhaps, once again, none of those are connected whatsoever. What I do like, however, is the symbolism itself and the fact that it kind of connects nicely with nature. The fact that we're most likely going to be sort of acquiring and learning abilities as we go out in the wild, so that kind of definitely sort of goes hand in hand. However, with all of that aside, it is entirely possible that these are in no way linked to subclasses at all, and are instead just new symbolism. I mean, we see these symbols present on the images of the Guardians from the official promotional art, and the fact that they're being used in official merchandise also solidifies their importance. Bungie have used animal symbolism countless times in the past, so it could just be exactly that, a symbol. But either way, it's exciting stuff nonetheless. For the time being though, that is pretty much it. That is the latest in the Destiny 2 leak sphere, so to speak. We are now less than a week away from some genuine, concrete answers. Next week, we will have our first glimpse of gameplay, of subclasses, of the world that we'll be exploring. So it's not long now until we can begin talking cold, hard facts. Again, remember that I'll have a ton of gameplay for you guys this time next week. And I'll be uploading Destiny 2 videos pretty much non-stop following the events. So if you want to know it all, then keep it locked. As always, let me know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think this could all mean? Are we going to be joining Slytherin, Gryffindor, and Ravenclaw? Will we have pets that'll follow us around and perhaps pick up our engrams for us? Will we be able to turn into animals like Animorphs? Or are we just going to get some fancy new symbols for our gear? Either way, let me know. But thank you for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.